I feel we going to turn this down, son.
Hey, bro, that nigga Patrick Williams low-key looked pretty nice.
I ain't want to say nothing, but he played.
He
played.
looked good at it. I like the way bro play. I mean, like, it's very technical, but he got strapped though.
Yeah, I like
bro.
I like Halliburton, but we got
Happy too. Oh yeah. I'm worried now. LaMelo's not gonna be in the conversation for me.
Nah, me either. And I thought I was tripping. You know what I'm saying?
I realized he just not gonna get enough minutes. You feel me? Because it's just better. It's other guard in front.
Yeah. I was just
we live.
eye test too. You feel me? Like that was one of the main things. I was like, yeah.
He just not ready. He not ready to take it over just yet, you know. But he.
Yo, what's going on, sports family, man? And we back at it again with another episode of Micah and Friends. And today, it's the usual suspects. And we got two more guys joining on. But, you see who it is, man. You got my guy Nate checking in from the West Coast, a.k.a. the best coast in an undisclosed location. You know what I'm saying? About 6 feet under the ground. But, you get that, though. But, what's going on, Brody?
Man, bless, bro. Happy holidays to you, everybody that tunes into this podcast. Happy holidays. Spending with fam safely. Away from that COVID. Stay out the strip clubs, like our guy Jay Harden, man. And you have a good holiday season.
Yeah, man. Happy holidays to you as well, Brody. And just like you said, everybody out there. Dang, I ain't even peeped the boxes and everything on the side, but Dave Fuller. But man, speaking of Dave, man, let's go ahead and shout out the sponsor, man, TOV Sports. Make sure you go over there, like, comment, subscribe on everything: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, Twitcher, everywhere. Go over there to TOV Sports. Make sure you go over there, tell Dave we said what's up. Go like some of the content. Go check out some of the content. And he's coming at y'all with some whole new content on the way pretty soon. Then while you're doing that, go over there and check out National Sports Chat, man. This whole podcast is being presented by National Sports Chat. Go over there, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, IG, like, comment, subscribe. Man, we about to get it going. We've been gone for about 2 weeks. We just doing the holiday thing. Everybody been moving around, but we gotta start with the biggest news, and we gonna start it off with the Brooklyn Nets, bro. I need to get your reaction to that Brooklyn Nets game. Do you think they ready? What's your expectations for the Nets this season? Come on, I got nephew here. He clowning, but let me get your thoughts, man. I can't really hear you like that though.
For sure, man. Honestly, I was kind of one of the skeptics of the Brooklyn Nets. Coming into the season, it's well documented. I'm not the biggest Kyrie and KD fan. However, what I saw from them in game one was very encouraging, and not just because they offensive efforts, really they defense. That Warriors team, albeit Andrew Wiggins looked terrible in that first game. Like, he looked, really bad. I mean, the Warriors look like they got to figure some stuff out there. Really young team. I don't want to put too much stock into it, but KD, he looks just as healthy as he was before. I mean, even if he's 80% of what he used to be at KD, that's a problem for the league. Kyrie looks locked in, and I mean, the pieces they have around them, I just feel like they fit very cleanly. You take Kyrie out the game, you put it in Spencer Dinwiddie, who can get buckets and facilitate. You bring in Karis LeVert. I saw Kendrick Perkins call him Baby Durant. I didn't agree with that. But he's like a 6'8", long, type scorer, so he can come off the bench. I call him maybe like the modern day Jamal Crawford. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Jay Crawford's game, very like wiry type guy. I mean, you got Jared Allen, young dude coming off the bench, could block some shots. And DeAndre Jordan, he looked like he came back this year healthy. Last few years, he kind of looked like he was scrubbing it a little bit, kind of getting on the fringe of, that scrub list from where he used to be. But, he's a great lob threat. And I got to give credit to Steve Nash where it's due. It looked like they was locked in on that defense, which I think was going to be the biggest problem for them. But like I said, it's the Warriors. Don't put too much stock into that game. They got some stuff to figure out. But, it's good. It's positive signs for everybody in Brooklyn for sure.
Yeah. For me, man, I get it. It was the first game of the year, so I definitely don't want to overreact. But like I said before the show, like I'm just going off a pure eye test, and from what I see, KD is KD. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was some of the biggest questions. Of course, we're gonna see like how he looks when he's like 20 games in, 40 games in, and he starts wearing on his body a little bit more. So that's one thing I definitely want to keep an eye out for. Kyrie is playing on another level right now, and that's one thing I gotta salute, especially going into this season with all the, just the rumblings around Kyrie, just because he's that type, he's a guy that gets a lot of media around him, a lot of media attention, a lot of stories that come out, and it's part of it some of his fault just because some of the ambiguous comments that he makes. It's like, well, what the hell is that? So I don't know, man. I gotta see what it really was really gonna go on with it, because I think that they're set up in the best way possible just because they did the best thing by not getting Harden. You know what I'm saying? And I was talking to Todd about this on the phone, just because with getting Harden, they would have had to let go of everybody on the bench. And we're going to get into it later on, because I got a team that's going to be a surprise failure this year because of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not a lack of talent on the starting end. It's just a lack of talent on the bench. And it's like, okay, when these guys get tired, what's now? Like,
for sure. Like, who's going to carry the load? Yeah, that was my issue with the whole Jay Harden thing too, because I mean, if you're trading Jay Harden, you're gonna expect back Spencer, at least Karras, at least Jared Allen, maybe maybe their shooter. I can't remember his name right now, slipping my mind. But Joe Harris, you'd get rid of a lot of that, but also you'd bring back somebody who obviously is a 30-point per game scorer. And I was watching First Take, and Stephen A didn't agree with Max when he said it, but Max said that he thought that the Nets would get worse with the addition of Jay Harden. And, he is a 36-point per game scorer last year, but realistically, what that team needs is depth. You got guys who are coming off injuries, like you just said, 20, 40 games in. We got to see where KD is. Say KD's,
Kyrie just came off some injuries. Like, we got to see where what he looks like.
Exactly. So, like, if Steve Nash can stagger their minutes, maybe 30 to 32 minutes a night, you bring Karras in, you bring Spencer in, kind of offset that. I think that's you brought in Shamet too, a good defender. Like, I think that complements their roster much better than bringing in Jay Harden. I don't see him fitting with that unit. I thought it would have been a mistake. And kind of proved that game one, like they really don't need him. They were swinging the ball. Like, realistically, it kind of looked reminiscent of the Warriors offense when KD was there.
Yeah. And I was kind of saying that, and granted, I know the Warriors don't have all that.
Exactly. It's game one, but from what we see so far.
But the silhouette is still the same, meaning that you got KD from there. You got Steve Nash, who was really a part just by, of course, he was doing player development, but you could tell he was in those rooms with Steve Kerr and Mike Brown, really getting the organization together and really coming up with the game plans. I'm not saying that he was solely responsible, but he was probably a fly on the wall in those rooms, and probably gave some good advice, just because one thing I can say is, okay, he has the development, the player development hat. I get it. But one thing I didn't give too much credit to which I'm now giving credit to, is, okay, he's a point guard. I can't even say guard. So his whole career was based off of putting people in the right position and getting the best out of these other players. So I feel like that's even better for him being a coach. It's like, all right, I know the game already on the floor, and I could tell, like, all right, what he's thinking. I know my personnel. Okay, this is the type of offense or plays I need to draw up for these guys. So I think
this is the way KD always wanted to play, supposedly, since he left OKC, right? Like, he didn't want to always have the ball in his hands, have to create offense, take tough shots, tough one-on-ones. So when he went to the Warriors, they kind of got the ball out of his hands a little bit more. And I think that's kind of what we're going to continue to see with the Brooklyn Nets. Like, he's going to be very efficient. Your 1 to 2 dribble pull up scorer, shoot over anybody, get a lot of spot up looks, get some easy post ups around the basket. But, I think, like you said, they took the model from Golden State, which a lot of teams have tried to do. They just didn't have the personnel.
Yeah.
The Nets have the personnel. I mean, they don't have Steph and Clay, obviously. You don't got the 2 best shooters ever. But, I mean, you got Kevin Durant, who's probably in the conversation, especially for somebody at his height. Kyrie, one of the best finishers, outside the paint, inside the paint in general. So they have the pieces there. And Kyrie knows best because he lost to the Warriors, 2 times already. So he knows best kind of what you got to do to play winning basketball. And positive signs, but don't want to overreact, like you said. It's just game 1.
Yeah. And another thing too, man, I always what I peep too that we got to give credit to is, and then granted, it's 1 game in, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even counting the preseason, but the problems that the media was saying that they were going to have, they're not having. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't look like they're, due for like a power structure thing. Like, I feel like it's no little eyes, no big eyes, small U's in that building, man. I definitely think that everybody is moving on one accord, and I think it's gonna be good for the betterment of the team if they could keep it just like how they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, spirit wise, personnel wise, and just mindset wise. I feel like it's gonna be something dangerous. So
we'll see on Christmas. On Christmas, I think they'll have a much better test. I want to see them in the close game. A little bit more of the late game X's and O's. That's kind of what I'm curious for them, because we really didn't see any of that against the Warriors. Pretty much a blowout from, I'd say, the first 10 minutes or so. So, I want to see them in a tight game, see where their late game sets are, see who they go into first in a game winning situation. But, like you said, got to give credit where it's due, but just got to give it a little bit more time before I start, saying their relationships is perfect just yet, because they're going to run into some adversity, and when that happened with the Warriors, when they kind of, him and Draymond got into arguments here and there, KD didn't respond the best. So, let's see in a few games or 20, 40 games down the line, how those relationships hold up.
And also, too, man, you got to another thing. I definitely don't want to just write the Warriors off. You know what I'm saying? Like, because granted, it was a tough game, and they probably were playing against the number 1 contender from the East. No
Draymond either. Which is a big part of their defense and stuff. So.
No Draymond. I liked how Wiseman looked. I really liked how Oubre looked. So that just let me know, like, all right, this is something. I feel like that's a long-term move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that could definitely be a long-term move, because he could guard 1 through 4, and he would be able to insert him at the 3 and put Clay back at the 2. And whether you got Wiseman there, and maybe you probably will and deal Wiggins and Draymond. Just to get. Well, I may even just try getting something straight up for Wiggins off rip. You know what I'm saying?
Like, that's going to be difficult. You might have to add a piece to get rid of Wiggins at this point. But
I don't know.
I like what the Warriors have. I wasn't excited about what I saw from them game 1. Yeah. I thought they were still trying to run like the classic Warriors offense. And I think what they're going to have to do, they're going to have a much more steady diet of pick and roll with Steph Curry. Like, that was, that kind of used to be a little bit more of their offense 2015, 2016, but he kind of became a lot more of a, come off down screens, pin downs, get easier looks, elevator screens, all that stuff. But this year, he's really going to have to be a monster in that pick and roll for them to succeed. But I wasn't encouraged what I saw from them game 1. But like I said, no Draymond, who's their defensive anchor. They got time to grow. They're a young team, but, that West is tough. So, you don't want to get too down, especially they're in the Lakers, Clippers, and Kings conference. That's going to be a pretty tough division right there.
For sure, man. Let's go ahead and get into this next one. Just and it's sometimes I just end up at a loss for words. But this one, I just really want you to get in on this, just because I think the man, the myth, the legend, Paul George, PG, playoff P, one, being known for one of the greatest chokers, is back. Is back. He almost
You know,
single-handedly knocked off the Lakers. I need to get your reaction to that, man. Let me know how you think about Paul George's performance. Do you think he's back? Will he be able to sustain this type of play through the whole season? You know, let me you go ahead and kick it off, bro.
For sure. Man, I don't want to get too high and too low on anything Clippers related. You know, I'm not gonna do that this season. This season, I'm gonna just be real. Paul George, I really like what I saw from him game one. I mean, he looked very healthy. He looked good, but so did he last year. He didn't play in the opener last year, but you know, he played very well against the Lakers in the regular season. And it's unfortunate because no matter what Paul George does this season, it's going to be measured by the playoffs. So, you know, it's kind of like a ticking time bomb. We really just waiting for the playoffs to find out, you know, is he going to perform again or is he going to choke? Because I'm not going to say he always looks that good. That first game against the Lakers, that was some impressive stuff. I mean, he was making threes, he was getting to the rim, you know, his handle looked tight. And like when it was time to close the game out, he was pretty much the guy who closed the game out. When the Lakers brought it back close, you know, they brought it within two.
He went on like started the run.
For sure. He went on like a 9-0 run. But all that being said, they still kind of almost folded it at the end with no LeBron and no AD in the last like 7 minutes of the game, you know. So I'm encouraged from what I saw from Paul George, but it's like, damn, bro, like I wish we could speed up to the playoffs because until then, I'm not going to give him any type of credit for putting up 30. Like you can put up 30 on the Clippers treat their games against the Lakers like a 7. They treat that like game 7. You know, they come out to play when it comes to the Lakers, but you know when it comes to clutch situations, they're not the same team, but they get amped up to play that crosstown rival, if you can consider them a crosstown rival. And you know they got amped. They beat them. Kawhi looked good. PG looked good, but Serge Ibaka was a great pickup too. I think he's really going to help out the spacing of that team. You know, we talked about that before. It's really going to help dudes like PG and Kawhi. You know, because supposedly they're running that triangle offense, getting Kawhi closer looks to the basket. You know, getting PG wide open looks. And yeah, he is going to choke. We know that, and that's why I'm not ready to sit here and give him his credit just yet. He earned that money though. What is back for PG though? You know, because he's not a bad regular season player at all. Like he's a really good. You know, 2 years ago he was top 3 MVP finalist. You know, last year like 21, 5-5. Like those are really good numbers. But just do it when it counts. And that if this game one was anything to show what he's gone this season, then you know the Clippers might have a chance at that number 1 seed.
Yeah, I know. One thing that you know, it's all signs of him playing well is a good sign. You know, just because it gets so dark for so long when he gets playing bad that it's like, all right, I just need to see him play good. You know what I'm saying? Like so.
Like let me see something.
Yeah, like I enjoyed what he did. He was definitely he definitely led the way for them. Even and just further speak to your point, even if he could just like, bro, between 22 and 24 a night in the playoffs, that's all, bro. That's all Kawhi would need from him. Is like 22, 24 a night. Like you can't be coming out here having 9, having 7, having shooting 1 for 13. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't gonna like even with the Raptors, bro. Kawhi still had somebody that was still like, you know, Siakam was gonna do something, Lowry was gonna do something, and even Van Vliet was gonna do something. And Norman Powell.
Because your star has to be. They have to have the ability to have a bad game. Like you can't rely on your superstar to have a great game every single night. Like that's exactly why it's important to have a team. You know, I mean, if Michael was his best every night, then you know he wouldn't have needed Scotty to win championships. But it happens sometimes.
It was even some nights in this last postseason where they would win and he wouldn't do really too much of anything, and Kawhi would have like 28 but be shooting like 7 or 29 or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll just be a bad game, but he'll not 7 or 29. That's crazy. 10 for 29.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But it'll be you know a really bad game, but he'll still find a way how to nail and claw it out. One thing I do want to say that I don't like because I feel like it was a little too early. And granted, I like Luke Kennard. I was on here talking about how I liked him more than Larry Shamet, but it's like, dude, y'all read him up for 4 years for $64 million. Like, what are y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's not that guy, bro. He's never been close to that type of guy. I was very shocked that they locked that money up, but maybe they made it a more tradable contract. I guess that's kind of what they're trying to do. But come on, man, 4 years, $64 million for somebody who put up 15 on the Pistons, like that just doesn't sound right. You know, it just really doesn't sound right as a contract. The eye test, like we talking about right now, the eye test can tell you Luke Kennard is not a $64 million player. He's not a $16 million a year player. KCP is not even making that. You know, KCP not making that. Trez not making that. Marcus Morris is making that same thing. And he was a 20-point per game scorer at a point in New York. You know, like talking about guys who have done, you know, some things in the league to warrant that type of money. And I don't see that from Luke Kennard at all. But, you know, he's a sniper, I guess. But so what do you think of Lakers? What do you think about what you saw from them? Do you think that was kind of like championship high? It kind of looked like they came out like, we just got our rings, like, you know.
Yeah, and like I said in the chat, I'm like, man, I really think they're gonna be cruising. You know what I'm saying? And it's nothing wrong with that. Like I would expect that, especially coming off that. They was just in the finals. So I'm not mad at the cruise, but I feel like what they're gonna do, like, well, not even gonna do. I feel like they'll be cool with, say if it's a 10 every 10 games. All right, we lose 3 games. You know what I'm saying? Win 7. I feel like they're comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? Even though, granted, nobody really wants to lose, but some nights they're gonna want to get that rest. They're like, hey man, they could have it this night. You know, like, you know, it's not that serious, but I'm definitely liking Schroeder. Schroeder looked real good. He looked he pretty much gave
that pick and roll looked pretty scary. I like what I saw from that.
Yeah, he gave you everything you would want to see from a 6-man, and you know Schroeder could play starters minutes as well. I gotta go back and peep. I ain't really tuned in and watch what KCP did. Did he play decent?
He played solid, like 9-10 points, had a few threes, some solid defense. The one person I wasn't really excited about from what I saw was Marc Gasol, but I also thought that was just an unfavorable matchup. Like, if I'm Frank Vogel, you know, I'm going to have a fluid starting lineup. Like, some games, like against the Clippers, and you got a big that can shoot like Serge, I'm going to go out there and probably start AD, Kuz, Bron, you know, and then fill out the other two, probably KCP and Dennis. But, you know, against somebody like that, Marc Gasol is a little slower, a little older at this point. I think he's better suited guarding your bigs like a Joel, you know, guarding your bigs like a Jokic. Dudes who really aren't moving as much, but, you know, I think they're going to have to play with that for sure. He has 0 points.
And one thing I do want to say is, I don't know why Frank, you know, he played Taylor Horton, like, he played him heavy, you know.
He did.
But it's like, dude, play him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never like when coaches have dogs on the bench and don't play him. Like, bro, play him. He shows you he's more than capable. You know what I'm saying? When
he got some minutes. He got some minutes down the stretch. Like third, fourth quarter, he started playing because that's when LeBron and AD. Like, you remember the Lakers made that run because it was a 20-point blowout at first. The Lakers made a run. And everybody's like, oh, the Clippers doing the Clipper shit again. You know, allowing a comeback. They allowed that comeback within the first half.
What up, gang?
Yo.
What up, boy?
Merry Christmas.
Same to you, brother.
Cot all the way from Maryland, man. East Coast. Cot, what's up, man?
Man, just blessed to be here, man. Happy holidays, y'all, man.
Man, likewise.
Same to you, Brody.
We in the middle of this PG topic, and we just kind of got to veering off. We got to talking about the Lakers and how they showed up that night. Like I said, Schroeder did well. I definitely like what I seen from him, and I feel like they're gonna keep coasting out. With Cot, what I said is, I feel like for every 10 games, I feel like they would be cool with losing 3. Like, I feel like, you know, just because they coming off that finals run and winning the championship, that they know they need rest to be able to tune it up in order to win another one. Right. But one thing I did say is, I don't like how Vogel. I need him to play Horton in some minutes that matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just paid Kuzma. I didn't really like what I seen from him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really did.
I liked what I saw from him in the second half because he was playing with THT. Him and Horton Tucker played together, and it looked solid when he was with that second unit. I didn't like what I saw from him with Bron.
Why put the body him? I'm like, bro, you like 4 years in now, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? You got to do something else now. Like
Keep Kawhi body and vets though.
That's still Kawhi Leonard though.
Kawhi body and
like,
veterans.
damn, nigga, like do something. Like nigga, just try to stay in front of it. Like niggas was getting lays. I'm like, bro, just stay in front of him. Like just try to stay in front of somebody, bro.
Right. But you know, what's crazy is that he actually has a pretty fair, like team friendly deal. I'd say, like Kyle Kuzma. I mean, he's like you said, he's in his 4th year, 6'9" dude with a clip, 3 years, $40 million. Or that's a pretty good extension when dudes like Luke Kennard is getting 4 years, 64. You know, like that's a pretty team friendly contract. I say, especially for a team that's already locked up big money in LeBron and AD. Because if Kuzma develops into anything, you get him at really cheap. That's basically like 12, 13 million a year. That's really cheap for a guy who's that size and can shoot it. Joe Harris got 4 years, 72 million, you know, and he's like 6'4" sniper. Barely, he's not even starting. So, you know, if you can get a guy like Kuz on a cheap contract.
Let's not get crazy, though. We know Harris is surgical.
No, he can snipe it, but he's not starter potential. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't consider him a starter on that Nets team. Not 76.
He starts on that Nets.
He started?
Yeah.
He started last night? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, he is sniper, but 72 M's, you know, that's not team friendly. I wouldn't consider that a team friendly deal. But Kuz, you know, he got potential. Like you said, he got to get a little stronger still. He getting there, but you know, they were coasting. To your point, they was coasting. But what I did see from LeBron and AD when they were in the game, I liked it. Like AD, he was shooting the mid ranges, he was knocking it down. He didn't take too many shots. Bron looked like he was healthy. You know, he really didn't even play the last 7 minutes of the game. So that to me, Frank Vogel was just like, you know, young guys, go get some experience, try to lead a comeback, which they almost did actually. And that was behind THT, Caruso, Kuz, and Montrez. So I like what I saw from them, but I like what I saw from the Clippers too. But you know, we can't measure the Clippers, especially Paul George, by one season opener.
Facts. Scott, let me get your thoughts. You think PG back? Do you think he'll be able to sustain this play? Just your thoughts real quick on the Lakers and what they did.
Man, I will say that I was impressed by the way PG came back and responded from his poor playoff performance. You can't necessarily can't jump the gun. It's game one. You know what I mean? The only way you can say that if you see consistency throughout multiple games. We can answer that question when we halfway through the season, you know. But I do like that is a good first impression. If you know, he backed up what he was saying, at least in game one, like I said. And the game, man, it was just all around exciting. I like what I saw from both teams. I think that Serge Ibaka was a great pickup for the Clippers. He stretched the floor. He was banging down there. I also like the Nicholas Batum pickup for the Clippers as well. That gives them some veteran. You know,
he was cheap too.
A cheap player, veteran. You know what I'm saying? 6'7", 6'8".
Hold on. My bad, real quick. So does Charlotte take up the 27 million of that contract?
Yeah, they still paying him, but it's stretched over like some more years, you know. And that's why the Clippers was able to get him on that minimum, because you can't really, you know, sign another big deal. You're already making a lot. But to your point before you hopped on about Serge, I said I agree with you saying like he was a great pickup. But I was also saying that Vogel on the other end, you know, this was a good test for him because he gets to see he already needs to have a fluid starting lineup. Like certain games, like Marc Gasol guarding a shooting big, a stretch big, that's not going to work. So, you know, you probably start AD at the 5, Kuz at the 4, Bron at the 3, you know. But Marc Gasol, I kind of saw he was just a little bit slow. Maybe he came in, you know, I think he's a better matchup for your Joel Embiid's, you know, for your Jokic's, you know, guys who like to really like bang around the basket, finesse moves. But Serge is a stretch big. And that's perfect for the Clippers, for the spacing, especially for this triangle offense that they're running too.
Right. I mean, I will say that to that Marc Gasol point, I wasn't too impressed by what I saw.
Me neither.
I initially when I heard the signing, I wasn't too big on it. I thought that what made the Lakers so good last year was the fact that all 5 of their positions can run the floor. Dwight Howard got out and ran with the team. JaVale McGee. Of course, Anthony Davis, you know, he's a big guard for real. But by signing Marc Gasol, that kind of threw off the balance of what made them. You know what I'm saying they were deadly in transition. He can't do that. Plus, I mean, you're talking about banging that in like with him banging with the Jokic's and the other bigs who aren't stretches in the league. Like I don't even know if he still has that. In all honesty, that's the.
I don't know about that. I mean, he was in foul trouble last game, so it was kind of hard to. He had 5 fouls. You feel me? Pretty early, like it was kind of hard to tell. But when he was with the Raptors last year, he was a pretty plus. I say he was a plus defender for sure.
To answer your question, I would have kept Dwight.
Yeah, I would have kept.
They tried.
Even JaVale. I can't even.
They tried to keep Dwight though, but I think with Marcus Gasol, like. Yeah, they lose a little bit of like floor running and stuff, but then they added somebody like Dennis, who's, you feel me, a pace pusher, like already fast. They added Montrez off the bench, who's just as fast, just as quick on the floor. Right. But Marcus Gasol, I think the one component that they add with him is playmaking. So we didn't get to see it in game 1 because he was in foul trouble a lot. But like him operating out that high post area, it'll help out definitely with the half court offense. But to your point, it will slow them down just a little bit. But, you know, everybody else just going to have to get in, fill the lanes. But one thing about him that Dwight and JaVale couldn't do, he can trail and step into a 3. So, you know, even if you're losing a little bit of speed, you gain a little bit more floor space. And he's not the best 3-point shooter, but he's very capable. So, you know, you can hit him in the trailer even if he's not running. But to your point, I would have kept Dwight as well, but Dwight bolted. So I think he was a solid move. You know, they rebounded pretty well from the losing.
I mean, that's a great point you make, Nick. He definitely gives them that different dynamic. But other than him, I liked what I saw from Schroeder. I like what I saw from like THT, even Trez. So I mean, the Lakers, this is game 1, no need to overreact. Bron got the minor ankle tweak at the end of the game, and like you said, Vogel let the second unit do their thing, try to close it out, then force it. So I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting season. I didn't see too big of a drop off, and it was a very interesting game.
Yeah, it's definitely something like I feel like, you know, these are 2 teams we definitely got to keep an eye on just because the Clippers, they're trending, even though it was 1 game, you know, they could keep this going and be trending in the right direction. And let's see if, you know, if kind of trying to cruise and trying to conserve energy comes for a detriment for the Lakers, you know. So this could be, you know, 2 good things to definitely watch for. But let's go ahead and get it kicking into this next one, man.
Another one.
You know, just the usual Micah and Friends, usual guy, man. He's a usual suspect, always on the scene. We got the boy, Jay Harden. And I ain't even know what the name is. I just know he fooling again. You know what I'm saying? Kai, I just need you to give your thoughts and, you know, just reaction to everything what's going on surrounding the guy. Do you think he's making this situation any better? Is he becoming less of an asset, or, you know, I just need to get your thoughts about what's going on, man.
Man, Harden, dude. Come on, knock in, bro. You might knock in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just shows a level of unprofessionalism. Like, you don't want, like, he's kind of getting labeled into that guy that gets the bag and then kind of loses what he's about. You know what I mean? Like, don't forget, don't lose that humbleness to you, dude. Like,
oh no,
you know like, my man Liddy.
Man, he stayed he on a yacht.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, hey, we had this conversation a couple weeks ago, so nothing has really changed. I think that, I mean, he kind of took advantage of, you know, the sense of power he has there in Houston, and even amongst the league too. He feels like he's a top guy in the league. He feels like he's a major asset, so he can get away with more things that another player can't. And I mean, it's backfiring on him because Adam Silver, he not playing that. Like, you got a strict protocol. Like, it won't be tolerated by anybody, and that's how you know what I'm saying, you demand respect, even though it might not be demanded in the Houston organization. Like I said, Adam Silver has a league-wide, you know what I'm saying, protocols that you must follow by. And I mean, it's just not a good look, dude. Like, it's one thing if he did this and this wasn't a global pandemic going on. But
exactly.
Come on, bro. Like, it's a pandemic. You put your teammates at risk. Like, now, like, the Houston Rockets had to delay game one. I don't know if it was specifically because of him, but I mean, he definitely could be.
He part of it.
Yeah, he's part of it. He's part of it for sure.
Because, they didn't have 8 players. They had like 3 players test positive for COVID. 4 of them was quarantined. Then Harden broke the protocol, so they had like 7 or 8 niggas out. You know what I'm saying? So
I will say I do like how he tried to come out and say like, yeah, man, that wasn't no strip club. I was just supporting the home girl. She be putting the homies on.
I just happened to be by a stripper. You feel me? Like I just happened to be with a stripper. Like, no, it's not you wasn't at a strip club, but you was at a party with strippers, Jay Harden. Like you're not making nothing better, bro. Like this is my thing about Jay Harden. It's just so blatantly disrespectful at this point. Like the stuff he's doing is really like compromising. I've never seen somebody self-sabotage their image as much as what he's doing right now. Like he has been the face of this Houston franchise for 7-8 years now. The Houston fans love him. Like he's delivered he's gotten them to conference finals, albeit he hasn't won anything, But at the end of the day, bro, like you got to give your fans some type of respect, bro. Like the fans want you to show up. They want you to play. They want you to be that superstar. And you're acting like you're just an average player. Like, bro, you can't break protocol and miss games. You're the 36 point per game scorer. Like, that's not really that replaceable, I mean, like, they got guys now. They got Jay Wall. They got DeMarcus. But it's just kind of sad to see that he's doing this because, like, even his statement, like, yeah, I was at my friend's, like, event. But, bro, like, you weren't supposed to be there. And, like, it doesn't sound like any real numbers to us, but that's $50K he got fined for violating this time. Every game that he misses out, he's going to lose $256,000. That may not sound like something to somebody who turned down a $50 million, $100 million extension for 2 years, but for your average man, that's what I'm saying. For your average American, that's 4 years worth of salary,
Yeah.
So it's just like, man, I really don't like the way he's handling it. I think it's pretty embarrassing. And I think to your point, Micah, he's kind of reduced his trade value. Like, I think any franchise that trades for Jay Harden right now is kind of going to be labeled as like, they're willing to take on the shit show. Like Brooklyn has already came out and said they're not going to do that. KD said himself, we're not worried about that.
You got to like salute KD for saying like, man, hey, I ain't talking about that nigga.
Facts, like you feel me, and that's how you're supposed to play it because he's literally right now he's a media disaster. Like everything that he's doing, it's literally videos of dude surrounded by strippers, videos of dude at parties with no mask on. Like, bro, like Kai said, I don't have no type of moral judgment about the strip clubs, bro. People been going to strip clubs for years. Like, you're an NBA athlete. If you want to spend money at the strip club, by all means. But during a pandemic, when you're supposed to be, setting an example, like he didn't start coronavirus. It's not Jay Harden's fault, obviously. But you're supposed to be setting an example, not just for the league, but you feel me, the rest of America. Like the NBA was kind of a major example during the bubble, of how to kind of deal with coronavirus if you're a business and a sport. So, I mean, he's really kind of compromising a little bit of the integrity of the league. So it's really turning me off as a fan of Jay Harden, his actions as of lately. It's just very sloppy. Like I haven't seen anybody sabotage themselves this much to get out of a situation that's not that bad. It's just not that bad of a situation for him to be acting like this.
One thing, like, what it kind of remind me of, I don't know if y'all used to watch WWE as a shorty, but how they kind of plant the story and try to make they call it a heel. They try to, how they made Stone Cold, like the crowd love him. Then they made him to one of them guys that the crowd hate, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I really don't get Harden. And, last time we had this conversation about him going to the little baby party and things like that. I really didn't have a problem with it just because, the season didn't start and I felt like he was well within his right to do so, which like y'all said, he is well within his right to go to the strip club. But now, no, you know what I'm saying? Not with the league going on, not with the protocol. And when things start to become a distraction for the organization as a team as a whole, that's when I have problems. Like if you want to go and screw off with yourself, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Like do that. You know what I'm saying? If it's just affecting you. But you got to know like what type of player you are. And now the causes, the consequences are for everybody, not just you. So I'm really surprised the league didn't make them forfeit this game and just count it as an L since OKC was ready to go. But I felt like they're probably trying to be just a little bit softer on the Rockets right now because they understand what's going on. And one thing too, Cop, that you said was them just giving them too much power. They gave Harden extremely too much power. And granted, of course, superstars and stuff like that get special treatment. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm just saying there should just be a limit on that. And superstars, you got to know, like, all right, I'm not going to abuse this power. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with Kawhi and them, they were slightly abusing their power, showing up late and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's abusing power. I'm sure Kobe probably had all those same rights, and he probably even more than what other people
But
had.
he backed it up.
Yeah,
He
but
backed it up. And I doubt Kobe was late for practices. I doubt he was late for team playing because like that's just punctuality. That's professionalism. You can abuse your power without going outside the lines of professionalism. Like, if you just, kind of bullying the coach to, run sets that you want, getting guys on the floor that you want to be on the floor, even personnel decisions. Like, I think Jay Harden should have had a hand in personnel decisions. Maybe not as much as he should. He did. But, you got to consult your star player about who he wants to play with. But, the messed up thing about this is that, he does have too much power, but this isn't the front office or coaching staff that gave him all this power. Steven Silas is a brand new coach. Raphael Stone, the brand new GM. Like, these aren't the same guys that gave him this freedom. So it's kind of messed up now that, like, they have to come in and automatically start dealing with dude's foolishness. He hasn't even really given them a chance to, kind of show them that they can be a good coach or good GM. And I think they've done a good job so far.
And now that was the thing too. I definitely wanted to highlight as well is that and I talked about it on one of the previous episodes. Like, hey, this front office isn't who Harden, who he loves. He loves Dan Thomas. He loves Daryl Morey. He loves all the guys that's going to enable him and let him do whatever he wants to do. Which I get, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of guy he is. So of course he don't want nothing to change up on him. But now I want everybody to be aware. Like, teams are really going to start like less and less giving like superstars like power to do shit. Like, it's gonna probably be a little bit more just a little bit more structure and everything around what's going on, just because people aren't gonna let you get all this power and then screw off with and do whatever you want with it. Like, teams like Boston, you see why they pulled out the James Harden sweepstakes, because it's like, shit, I got two wing players that could drop 30. And they're not needy of anything. They're not wanting anything so astronomical, out the ordinary from everybody else. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting special requests. They're not getting special privileges. So why would I add somebody to my organization that's going to want special privileges? No. I might as well just cancel that out. You know what I'm saying? And keep rocking with these young boys that got potential. So, man, Harden definitely hurt his trade value too as well. That was one thing I wanted to hit on, just because already they were going to have to get pennies on the dollar for James Harden, whether that was 70 to $1 or right now, which I think is probably 50 cents on the dollar for him. I definitely think you're not going to be able to fully compensate the loss of James Harden. And part of that is Houston's fault because you waited so late.
Yeah.
I would have tried to get this done at least when free agency was going on or off season or something, or started putting calls in, because they seen where this is going, and they should have already made plans and stuff to take care of this stuff, but they didn't. And now, you see what's going on. But my last point before I let y'all rebuttal and chime back in, I don't think all is lost though, because you can't tell Christian Woods don't want to play with Harden. The shit looked good when they played. Eric Gordon, it looked good when they played. Even Wall and Cousins, they looked good on the court all together. So I don't think all is lost. I feel like if they can salvage it and fix the relationship, I feel like they should. But if it's just too far gone to where he keeps like hurting his trade value, you got to let him walk, because you're gonna end up, for what I think now, they'll probably get 50 cents back on the dollar. They may be down to 30 cents. You know what I'm saying? If something else happens, y'all got.
The issue with that is that, like, the thing is, trading a superstar, so a contract like Jay Harden, you're going to have to get players back. Either you're going to have to throw in a lot of terrible players back to make the money work, or you're going to have to include some type of good players. And I think that's kind of been the disconnect on, a lot of front offices. Like, were the Sixers willing to give up Ben Simmons? Like, that's a $30 million contract, could have helped make the money work. Maybe throw in somebody like Danny Green, who they got now. I mean, they could have made it work, but like, are you willing to give up a star for somebody who we kind of seen their potential in the playoffs? Like, I like Jay Harden, LA dude. You know, I like what he brings to the floor talent wise, but you know, I just too much of a shit for him right now to like kind of take that on, especially to give up young assets. Like he is 32 years old. I mean, you're gonna have to worry about a contract extension soon, but like Micah said, I think he's gonna not ruin it for the rest of the league, but you know, teams are gonna take note of what's going on right now with Jay Harden. In that next CBA, they're gonna try to figure out ways to kind of decrease a little bit of the like player empowerment because you know we've seen a lot of players ask for trades publicly, you know, ask to force their way out of situations, and like for the league and teams, it's kind of unfair. In essence, like don't sign the 5-year contract if you're just gonna ask out in year 2. That's kind of where the teams are gonna start thinking. So it's going to be interesting in that next CBA to see how like the NBA and like the teams represented, you know, go about that. Because you could get fined, you know, they could increase the fines. They can increase a lot of penalties for asking for these trades because I would personally as a business.
Yeah. I know that's one thing too I want to highlight, like, and because he's messing it up for the guys as a whole. Because granted, the NBA, you know what I'm saying, it's a monopoly anyway. Because if you're good at in the NBA in basketball and you want to play professionally, where are you gonna go? To the NBA. So you know what I'm saying, it's a monopoly already. And you think these owners are not gonna be able to put something in play where it's like, hey bro, like man, you doing all this, we should have the right to cut you right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Right. So the CBA is gonna be big, bro. So it'll just be interesting to see how they just put something together about that. Kai, you got anything else on that?
Nah, man, y'all hit the nail on the head with that, man. He's definitely making it tougher on guys in the league because the GMs, man, it's just a bad look for the organization, man. And I know the game is changing, like it's getting more league, and it's like they're trying to progress it after. You know what I'm saying? I've talked to a GM personally, and he said like one of the first things they look at nowadays is what type of person are you? You know what I'm saying? Like because they're starting to realize that the players on their roster, they affect the whole image of the organization. And no one is bigger than the image of the organization. I mean, right now, I mean, Harden, like you said, the previous management, coaching staff, they gave him that larger than life persona. You know what I mean? And it's sad that a guy like him who has so much power and so much influence is, you know what I'm saying, abusing his position like that. So there's definitely going to be some changes in the future. Hopefully, I mean, I feel like Jay Harden, he's still, he's not, I don't think he's a lost cause. I think he still loves the game. He just loves the party as well. So, I mean, it's a tough time it's tough times we got going on right now, but I mean, you got to abide by those provisions, man, just to keep, you know what I'm saying? You got to remember what made you that multimillionaire. So, like I said, I think that speaking of trade destinations for him, though, like I really would like him to see him in that Clippers uniform. I think that's the best option. You know what I'm saying? Him for Paul George. I think that could be a vital option for him. You know what I'm saying? 2 big contracts that they could take on. You know what I'm saying? Swap out, and then just a change of scenery. Like I mean, I'm still not too sold on that Clippers team. I think that Kawhi and PG, they kind of, you know what I'm saying, they operate in sort of the same space. So you put Harden out there, that's a different dynamic, but that's another topic. Thanks,
man. Let's go ahead and roll over to this next one, man. And this one,
another one.
There's a lot of good conversation in the group chat. I need to know, what are y'all, because the NBA is looking into adding new teams and expansion teams into the league. I want to know, what are some good destinations that you all think or should be like the number one spots that the NBA should look at? I'm gonna get it cracking first, man. And this no particular order, but Vegas, man. I gotta say Vegas just because I feel like it needs to be more teams on the West Coast. You know, once you look at the map, you understand like, all right, it ain't really no hits outside of California on the West. Like, of course, you got Portland, Jazz, Denver, and the Suns. But other than that, everything from Texas in, you know, it's crazy. So definitely, I feel like the West needs some more teams. I feel like Vegas would be a good spot. Of course, you got the gambling going on there. You got football. That football team is there. They took off this year. and you're seeing that the fans and the community is really wrapping their arms around them. So I feel like adding a basketball team to that city would definitely be a good addition for that city. It feels like it's a win-win all the way around. In another place, Virginia Beach. Virginia once had, well, I don't know if they was a full NBA team. It may have been like one of the little developmental leagues, but they had the Virginia Squirts. If Virginia, yeah, for sure.
The Squirts.
That's
That's definitely a G League name right there.
Yeah,
the Squirt.
only reason why I remember that is because my OG and my pops was in the Navy, and they biggest naval base is in Virginia Beach. So I used to have a Virginia Beach jersey when I was a shorty, and I was the only one out of all my brothers that wasn't born in Virginia Beach. Everybody else was born in Virginia Beach. So I feel like they'd be a good look too, just because it's a good little area. It's kind of middle ground on the east. Like you could get to the south relatively fast. You get up north to New York and they're relatively fast. So I definitely think Virginia Beach would be a good area, just because and they have a population too, and it's a basketball state. Virginia isn't a football state. They don't have a football team either, but I mean they claim they Washington fans, but it's a basketball state. So there. And me and Cod agreed on this in the chat. Mexico City. I feel like Mexico needs to get into the action, man. I feel like, we got a team up in Canada, which may not be for long because they look like they turning into the Tampa Bay Raptors. But, man, I think Mexico need a team, bro. I feel like that'd be a good look. And especially just adding more people into the mix, man. Like getting the Latino culture into basketball even more. Granted, I know that it's a big Latino fan base for the Lakers. I feel like it could further expand, if we put a team there and give them some players to wrap their arms around,
Sure.
I'm gonna give two more. San Diego, just because big city. You get the traffic outside of LA, so I feel like that'd be a good look. And Austin, Texas. And I get it. They got San Antonio, Dallas, Houston right there, but Austin is turning into the biggest city in Texas. No football there outside of the University of Texas football, and they die hards for that. But I feel like Austin, Texas definitely deserves a basketball team because there's no way you're not going to make your cheese back from that, bro. There's no way. But
I like that one. I actually like that Austin, Texas one. I ain't even thought about that because that and Dallas, like both those kind of like expanding communities, like expanding metropolitan communities. So that's a good one. But I'm gonna go ahead and give my two that I said in the chat. So the first one, I think probably the most obvious one is probably Seattle. Them having the Supersonics before, even to this day, people still like clamor for the Supersonics. And Seattle's like a very big basketball town. You get a lot of dudes that come out of UW. I mean, you got Isaiah Thomas in the last few years, Marquise Chris, Markel Fultz, Matisse Thybulle. They're a big basketball hub up there in Seattle. I mean, Jamal Crawford, like they got some really big names that come out of the Seattle area, and they love basketball and they love sports. Like they ride hard for the Seahawks, and they ride hard for their college teams out there. So I think Seattle is probably the most obvious destination, and it also makes sense geographically. You put some up there, like kind of in that same sphere where Portland is, kind of fill that up a little bit. And then I'd say Kansas City was the other one that we talked about. One, the mayor, where the governor has been like pushing hard for another professional franchise. And like they are kind of another like big time sports town. Like obviously you got the Chiefs who just came off a title, but then you got the Royals who came off a title in 2015. I wouldn't consider them a football town. I mean, they are in the South per se, but like I wouldn't consider them married to football because they're also not that far from Oklahoma City. And we see what type of traffic and what type of fans OKC brings into the games, especially when they have a good team. So I think geographically also, if you add Seattle and add Kansas City, you got, it kind of makes sense for the map and travel and distance and everything. But yeah, I thought a little bit more about your guys' idea about Mexico City. I don't think that's a terrible idea. I think it's actually a pretty solid idea if they did want to go to just add another country on their roster. But it would just have to depend on how big like the market is for a team down there. Mexico doesn't produce too many hoopers. They love basketball, especially where I'm from in LA. But maybe try to expand that market, like you said, Micah, get some more Hispanic, Latino consumers.
Facts. Cop, what you got?
Man, I took all my spots, man. Like, damn, I got nothing. Montana, Idaho, and
Yeah.
North Dakota. Like, but nah. I like you said, like we said, Micah, Mexico. I think that's a great area. This, just expanding the game. It's a global game nowadays. Just taps into a whole different market. A team like Mexico, they don't have any professional sports over there, or at least American professional sports. So I mean, it's definitely a close geographic location where it would be easy to travel for teams, and also, just gives taps to a whole different demographic. So I think that could be a great look. And I'm gonna have to go. Other than that, I'm gonna have to go. Let's throw a team down Birmingham, Alabama, man. You know what I'm saying? I know that's predominantly a football state, but they like basketball down there as well. They're not just up football. You know what I'm saying? They right down there in the South. Throw them in.
They've put out some hoopers in Alabama lately too.
They do put out hoopers down there. I feel like that's an underrated hoop state. So I feel like that could be a demographic they could tap into, and they would, be relatively good support from the community down there.
The players are gonna have to get security coming from practice in Birmingham, Alabama. They're gonna have to have full chariots.
Birmingham got some good tucks though. Like, it ain't like, it ain't really too bad. They got some good tucks out there to where you could, live out in a good community and be able to drive to work, real chill. But Birmingham is definitely a good joint. Another one I had on my list that I didn't really say was Baltimore. Right. I put Baltimore / Pittsburgh, and I get it, like, Baltimore is close to Philly, so I get it, like, why they wouldn't. But Pittsburgh, because I seen that
on the whole other side of the state.
Yeah, I seen that Columbus wanted a team, Columbus, Ohio, which Pittsburgh is close to, but Cleveland, like, man, hell nah, because if Columbus is a team, we out of here. Like, the Cleveland team go, like, so it's definitely some politics behind that, but definitely Pittsburgh or Baltimore. I think those two spots would be good too. But let's roll over to this next one, man. The next one is, what player has the most pressure on them this season, man? And I'm gonna start this one off too, just because I feel like it's hot, it's on the press, and I feel like ain't nobody really saying it. I think Dame. I think it's gonna be Dame got some pressure this year because you done been paid twice, and I get it. Dame, I feel like he's one of them guys. He definitely gonna be able to live up to it. And he's a friend of the page, all that. So definitely shout out to Dame. But I feel like it's pressure on. They got some good pieces out there. The West is definitely still strong, like it always was. But I feel like if it was ever time for him, now it's the time. I feel like now is the time for sure. My next one is PG. Just because if you fold this year, like I get it. I know I put him on my scrub list, but it's gonna be like certified. Like, it's gonna be like undeniable. In the
we may never be able to talk about PG again on this show. Like, his name might be banned off this show type shit.
With Drake on back to back, I don't want to hear about it ever again. Be better off as being his friends. I do not want to hear about PG if he choked. So him, and lastly, I got Simmons and Embiid, just because everything in that organization has changed, but those two guys, all those two guys that remain the same. They got rid of pieces, got pieces. Front office has changed, so now it's make or break time. So you got to strap your nuts on to make something happen this year. So those I can't say 3, but 4 players are who I feel like had the most pressure on them this year. Who y'all got, man? I'm who you got?
Man, I'm gonna have to go Kyrie Irving, man. I'm a Brooklyn fan. I'm, 2021 NBA champions. I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
It's I feel like it's all on him though. Like, I'm looking at that roster. I'm looking at how the makeup. Man, they go 11, 12 deep with solid guys, and I feel like you keep hearing the controversy around the team, and everything comes back to Kyrie Irving. Like, it always comes back. Can he be that team player? Can he be a true leader? Which he hasn't really displayed in the past. I feel like that he's trying to rebuild his reputation from what happened his time in Boston, which he didn't prove himself to be that true point guard. And it's like I feel like they have all the talent in the world. You have the best scorer ever, you know what I'm saying, alongside you, at least arguably one of the best. And you know what I'm saying, you got everything you need. Great system, head coach. You know, just everything falls back on his shoulders. Can he continue to be that team guy? Can he continue to make the right plays? And it's on him if they really want that championship. Because I feel like you know what you're going to get out of Kevin Durant. You know what you're going to get out of those role guys that they have. So kind of the wild card. Other than him, I'm gonna have to go Paul George, like you said, Micah. For all the obvious reasons that you named, he gotta rebuild his name, man. He gotta, like, last year he left these last couple years in the playoffs kind of left a sour taste in Paul George fans' mouth. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Donovan Mitchell dropped 45 on him.
You know as a rookie.
Yeah, and then you know he was talking that talk in the off season, like, I'm back. Listening to Kobe motivational interviews when he works out every day. Like, come on, dude, don't throw Kobe name out there like that if you ain't gonna back it up.
If you ain't gonna, and he did game one, but he better. You can only measure Paul George by the playoffs at this point. That's it. That's it,
man. So, what are you talking about,
man? let me get into my most disappointing.
Let me get one more. Nate. Last one, I'm gonna go Greek Freak. Late Nate, that was one of yours?
No, that was my first one on the list.
I'm gonna let you expand on it, Nate. Go ahead, man.
Man, I gotta agree with you. I think Giannis is under immense pressure this year. I mean, 2-time MVP. I don't think anybody would take 2-time MVP from dude. You look at his regular season stats, regular season award. But I mean, the last 2 years, the way he's gone out in the playoffs haven't really been that encouraging. Like, it kind of just looks like teams found a formula and are able to stick to that formula. Like, you know, he's 25, 26. Like, this is the time where he's supposed to, you know, he signed that Supermax deal. This is the time he's supposed to ascend into that upper echelon. Like, he already is in terms of accolades and numbers. But, you know, by the eye test in the playoffs, he's not one of the top 5 guys in the league when it comes down to winning meaningful games, like, in contending for championships. I think, you know, they got Drew Holiday this year. They kind of rebuilt the roster a little bit, brought in Torrey Craig, Brent Forbes, some shooters. May not have the best roster, but, I mean, you're a 2-time MVP. You're supposed to deliver, you know. And last year, I think they would have got swept had he had played every game because, you know, the offense had just gotten a little too predictable. But I like what I saw from him against the Celtics. But then again, he came up short in a clutch moment with the free throw. So I think it'll be a lot of pressure on him to deliver this year. My number 2, Steph Curry, because, you know, everybody's, you know, expecting Steph to come back, you know, have a great year, maybe get this team to the playoffs. But from what I've seen from them, especially in game 1, that'll be a very difficult task. And if it's one thing we haven't really seen with Steph Curry, and well, since he's kind of been in his prime, is you know, him having to solely lead a team, especially as the offensive option. Like, now, you know, there's no Clay, no Draymond. You got Kelly. I mean, you got Marquise Chris. You got James Wiseman. Those are some talented guys. But, I mean, it's really going to have to be on the shoulders of Stephen Curry to get them back to the playoffs, or else I just don't see it happening. And if they miss the playoffs, I think that's a disaster for the Warriors this year. If everybody's healthy, I think if the Warriors miss the playoffs, that's a disaster. And then I'm going to go one more. This might be a surprise to y'all, but I'm going to go ahead and say Devin Booker because, you know, this is after that 8-0 performance in the bubble. You know, he was averaging close to 30, like 6 and 7, you know, putting up monster numbers that we all know he could do. I think this is the year he has to get into the playoffs. You got Chris Paul there. You got Mikal Bridges, an elite defender. Cam Johnson, who we talked about as being an iffy pick last year, kind of showed he can do some things. You got Ayton there. And I think it would be really disappointing for a lot of people if the Suns didn't make the playoffs. So I got to go probably D Booker as my third one. He got to lead this team. I mean, Chris Paul is the point guard, you know, but he got pieces now. I don't want to see him be on the fringe. Like, I want to see the Suns compete for that 6-7 seed. No, not even 6, 7. I want to see them compete for that 4, maybe 5 seed. And I think they can. But if they don't make the playoffs like the Warriors, then I think that's a big time miss.
Yeah. Man, y'all had some good ones. That Giannis one, I ain't want to say him, but I got
he got to.
Yeah, he definitely got it. He definitely got to put on this season. But like y'all said, he's still young. What,
sure.
26?
26.
This turn 26, so he should be all right though. But
I got an honorable mention too.
Kawhi
Leonard should be on that watch list as well. I mean, if you go out, for example, if you go out this year, because we can't solely blame the 3-1 blown lead, on Paul George. I mean, it's a team sport, and those two are the guys. That was pretty embarrassing. If they go out again and lay an egg, say the Clippers don't reach the Western Conference Finals again, I mean, that's big time disappointment for a team that just brought in 2 superstars last summer, So I think Kawhi's under some big time pressure to not only get to a Western Conference Finals, but if the Clippers don't get to a finals this year, then Kawhi could possibly be thinking about splitting next year. He hasn't signed an extension. He said he's not worried about signing an extension right now either, except playing basketball. So him and that whole Clippers organization, I think, are probably under the most pressure.
Now, let's go ahead and roll over to this next one. We got the biggest surprises and the biggest upsets of the season. I'm gonna get it kicked off, man. So go with my surprises. I got the Pelicans being a surprise, man. I think they're gonna come out and be real good. I wouldn't be surprised if I see them as high as the 5th or the 6th seed in the West. I feel like they definitely had the pieces together over there. Redick is gonna be able to do what he do. He's definitely coming off the bench, contributing already. Zion has been playing big. Ingram has been playing like that contract money. And Bledsoe's been – I actually like what I see from Bledsoe out there. I feel like that's a better situation for him than Milwaukee.
Lonzo been cooking too.
Lonzo, definitely. Like, he been on point shooting-wise. So, man, I definitely think it could be a good year for them. They got rid of the coach.
Who?
Stan Van Gundy's the coach.
Stan Van Gundy, yeah. And he got them playing defense if you watched any of that Raptors game last night. So I think that could definitely be one.
What did I say about Van Gundy, though? I'm like, man, he may be, he may be a good look for them. So I got the Pelicans #1 for my surprise team. #2, I got the Spurs, man. I like how they've been coming out. They've been looking good. Pop seems like he got them together. I'm starting to see Pop play like a more laid-back role, so I wouldn't be surprised if he probably retires probably in 2 or 3 years or so, because I'm seeing him play more of a laid-back role and kind of just being the guy that gives the pointers and stuff like that, and not so much of a guy that's really instilling, like the passion and stuff like that into these guys. I feel like he's just getting on this X and O game really well, so I definitely like what I've been seeing from the Spurs. DeRozan's been looking pretty good, even though
sure.
I ain't gonna lie, John Morant was making them dance.
Hey, but he put up 28, 9, and 9 and got the dub.
Hey, I feel you. But Ja was making them. I ain't even gonna lie. Early, but I don't know. Is Ja the Hezzy God now? Is he the new Hezzy God?
That one Hezzy had to have been a carry, bro. The one I've been seeing on House of Highlights, I'm like, if I see that at the park, that's got to be a carry, bro. You got your whole head.
Hey, man, ain't no way you call him the carry at the park. Man,
I was seeing.
You ain't never seen,
sir.
I was seeing. I seen DeRozan jump off the
look.
Switch. I'm
bro,
like,
that's a carry, bro.
No, sir. I said,
that's a carry, bro. That's what DeMar said. He said, bro.
Yeah. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Like, he jumping off the body move. Like, bro, he got it. 44 points. But yeah, the Spurs, I definitely got them up there. I definitely think they'll be just surprise a couple people this year, especially to see what they're able to do. I'm expecting a big season from Lonnie Walker. They implemented him in the starting lineup now. I've been liking him since I seen him in when he played. He came to town when Miami played Georgia Tech. That's when Georgia Tech had that guy that went to Minnesota, Okogie.
Josh Okogie, yeah.
He's pretty decent too. So that was a good game, and Lonnie Walker went off in that game. But for my biggest upsets of the season, #1, the Milwaukee Bucks. I feel like they're going to underproduce. Kai, we was talking about it earlier, and I was pretty much saying like, man, they don't have the bench. Like they really don't have the bench to be able to get it done. As to where you look at a team like Brooklyn, to where they have Karis LeVert, who could start on pretty much a lot of people's teams in this league. Dinwiddie, who could start on a lot of people's teams in this league. Even Jared Allen's coming off the bench, so you gotta definitely look at that. I think that Milwaukee, that I don't think they're gonna be able to get it done, man. Especially this season. They may still win a lot of games. I don't know, but I feel like when it comes time to get everything going, I feel like Boston has their card now. I feel like the Sixers could beat them. I know the Nets could beat them. The Heat possibly. I don't know, man. I just don't think Milwaukee is what they once were. I feel like they definitely took some step backs instead of moving forward this offseason. But my last one is the Nuggets. I got the Nuggets. I ain't been liking how they've been looking. I feel like Mike Malone didn't really make any good moves this season. I feel like he's gonna like regress hard this offseason. They may be 6 or 7 seed. I got them falling that low because I really don't believe in Michael Porter Jr. I get it; he's a good offensive player, but defensively, it's gonna get ugly for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be.
He had a solid opener. He had a solid opening game.
For sure.
Last night, though, I ain't gonna lie. I like what I saw from him, but I think they lost a lot with Jeremy Grant and Torrey Craig. Like that's some toughness that their team had. And then you lose Mason Plumlee, who was a good passer. I mean, he ain't sitting here and saying, he's that good.
With Grant and Craig, those are two good defensive players. And, it's going to be hard to really shield somebody that's 6'10", you know what I'm saying, on defense. Like, it's going to be hard to really shield that. So, that's why I got them in there. I don't know. I just don't expect them to completely just fall off the map. But I definitely think that they're going to regress this season. Nate, who you got?
My biggest surprise team, I'm going to go ahead and probably agree with you with the Spurs. I don't think it really should come as a surprise to most people, but, it's just Greg Popovich. I think that he found a good system for them. DeMar, like he's starting at that power forward spot. He's not the biggest guy, but I think that opens up the floor for them. And then LaMarcus Aldridge shooting threes now finally. I like what I saw from Dejounte Murray. I like what I saw from Lonnie Walker, like you said. Like I think they do have some solid young pieces. And they got a good blend of like veterans and youth in there that I like. I don't think the Hawks should be a surprise to anybody, but I think they're coming on the East Coast as well. Not even because they're off-season pickups. I just think they're young guys taking leaps. That'll be somebody I'll talk about on the next topic. But you got Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter. Those are two 6'10" prototypical like 3-and-D hoopers. I look at and I like what I saw from them the other day, albeit they played against Chicago. But those young dudes, I think they come in and they got Danilo off the bench, Bogdanovich off the bench, so they can make some noise. But my biggest disappointment team this season, I'm probably gonna have to say the Portland Trailblazers, because a lot of people, are excited about their new moves. Robert Covington, they're bringing back Nurkic healthy, but I don't know, man. Like I just don't think they have it. Like. Like they got some solid players, but I think Dame needs to play with another like legit superstar. Like I don't see anybody on that team that's like a superstar. CJ is a good player, Covington's a good player, but it's not like Dame over here playing with Jay Harden or playing with Chris Paul or playing with a Bradley Beal. Like he's playing with good players, but I don't see the players that they added, taking them over the top. Like I don't know if the goal for them is the finals, but I don't see them making the finals with that roster just yet. And then in the East Coast, I'd probably say my biggest disappointment may be Miami. They have talent, but I think they surprised a lot of people last year how good they were. So I don't know if they'll be able to replicate that success this year, but we'll see.
Man, Kyle, let me see what you got, man. That I don't know. That last one kind of got me.
They was the 5 seed last year. I think that they surprised a lot of people by getting to the finals. Especially beginning of the year, that was really nobody's pick. I think they were a big surprise last year, but I don't think that they're going to surprise as many people this year. And I also think the East got better. Like, the Nets are, healthy. They look healthy. I think the Bucks I think they're better with Drew Holiday. I think the Celtics get better just because they're younger. You know, Jason Tatum looked like he put on some weight. But, you know, I don't really see the Heat getting back to the finals. And, yeah, Dame is the truth. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see the rest of that lineup, you know, taking them to the finals, to the promised land.
Hey, Micah, you mind reintroducing the topic?
Yeah, so man, what it was your surprise teams of the year and the upset teams of the year. I had the Bucks and I had the Bucks and the Spurs.
For his first time in the uniform, I think we got a lot of pieces around him where he can be able to facilitate, while also expanding his offensive game and showing what he can really do. I like the chemistry between him and Brad. I think those are two gritty guys on the court. You know what I'm saying? They're dogs. Then you throw in an elite shooter in Bertans. And we were playing against a top team in the East. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the Clippers, I mean, not the Clippers, but the 76ers, they made a lot of good moves this offseason. They improved. So for us to come out and take them down to the wire and to be winning most of the game, we just got to work on closing it out. But I was really impressed by what I saw. It wasn't a terrible L. I feel like it was lessons to be learned, but a lot of potential there.
For sure.
And if it's not the Wizards, I'm going with the Phoenix Suns, man. I really like what I saw out of their performance yesterday. I think Chris Paul and D Book can be deadly. Those are two guys who got the clutch gene to the fullest. They're both closers. They're not going to make too many mistakes. I think D Book will make a huge jump this year. I think he's really about everything he says he's about. And then Ayton can be one of the best bigs in the league. So you put all that together, and then they got in between guys. Like I think the Jalen Smith pickup was very good for him. I think he can develop into a solid power forward in the league. Cam Johnson, he looked pretty good with him last night. Mikal Bridges, you know, he brings 3-and-D guys. So I like what I saw, and even what I saw from Cam Payne. Cam Payne looks like, you know, it took him a little while to get adjusted in the league, but now he's older. He understands. It looks like he found his niche.
He's a floor general now. He's not just a TikTok dancing ass nigga.
Right.
He's a floor general, which is good.
I like the Wizards and the Suns to surprise a lot of people and sneak into that top 5 of both conferences. I think the Wizards can sneak into that 5th position in the East, and the Suns can do it as well in the West. So those are my surprise teams. If they continue to, you know what I'm saying, build and grow on the foundation they've set. And my upset teams, I'm gonna have to go with Milwaukee. Like was it Micah? You said it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to agree with you, man. I'm not. Yesterday, Giannis, I still don't know if he's there yet. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he still has limitations in his game. While Drew, I think they did improve this offseason, but the East also got much better as well. So I don't know if their improvements will take them over the edge to get any different outcome in the Eastern Conference. I'm just not a believer right now. Like I said, Giannis, he's still young, so it's no need to worry, need to rush. But I don't think this is their year. And my second team, I'm gonna have to go to Clippers, man. I kind of lost belief in them last year in the playoffs. I don't see it, man.
Hey, man, hold on, man. Everybody at the home, man. Cool out, man. I'm cool with nephew. I'm in here playing bubbles and everything, man. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna have to go with the Clips, man. I just don't think that PG and Kawhi Leonard are conducive superstar tandem. I don't. Like I said, I think they occupy the same space. PG, he's wavering. I think they still lack leadership in a sense. Like I don't see that one leader like Pat Bev. He's an energizer buddy, but I feel like he's too erratic to be a leader. And then Kawhi and PG, you know what type of guys that they are individually. So I mean, I don't see that team going too far, man. So yeah, those are my two upsets and surprise teams.
I can rock with that.
Man, let me get into the next one, man. For nephew go crazy on me. we got. I want to get y'all 2021 NBA season awards off rip for mine. MVP talks. I got Dame, KD, Curry, and Luka. In a particular order, I feel like Dame. I feel like it's gonna be a big season for him.
You gotta pick one. You can't say 4. You gotta pick one.
Okay,
yeah, pick one.
I got you. I'm gonna go with Dame then. Even though I said earlier it's gonna be like he's gonna have the most pressure on him this season, but I feel like he'll be able to definitely live up to that pressure and come out on top and have a good MVP season and get his first one. For Defensive Player of the Year, I'm going AD. I feel like it'll be pretty much the same. I feel like he come out and definitely be on what he was on in the playoffs and during the regular season as well. For the most improved player, this is where I gotta say my two though. You know what I'm saying? I got Houston and I got Lonnie Walker. I feel like those two will definitely be able to stand up this year and definitely let people know who they are this season. For the 6th man, I got Karis LeVert. I don't have nobody else. Just cut plain and dry. I don't got Lou Williams. I don't got Montrezl Harrell. I don't got Pat Bev. Excuse me. I don't got Pat Bev. I don't got none of that. Rookie of the Year, I got Wiseman. I like how he was looking. Halliburton is good too. I like how he's able to fit in on the Kings. He definitely been able to. I guess what I say, he's been able to show his perimeter threat level.
I wasn't too impressed with him. I wasn't too impressed with him, Mike. I can't even lie to you.
You ain't really care for him?
For real, I like what I saw from him so far.
I mean, I didn't see too much. I didn't sit down and watch the whole game. I will say that, but from what I saw, I'm gonna go check him out. I'm not gonna make that hot take just yet. You know what I'm saying? But from what I saw initially, I don't know.
I wouldn't say he a bum. I don't know about Rookie of the Year, but he's definitely a contributor. He's a contributing player for sure.
I wouldn't say a bum. I'm just saying, like, to be in Rookie of the Year talks. I didn't see that.
What's the last one you got, Coach?
Let me get my last one in there real quick. Coach of the Year. I'm gonna go with Monty Williams out in Phoenix or Stan Van Gundy out there in New Orleans. So those are my awards for the year. Nate, let me get yours, man. Let me go ahead and mute myself. Go crazy.
I'm gonna go for a surprise pick with the MVP. I think if the Celtics do well this year and get that either 1 or 2 seed, I think Jason Tatum will definitely be in the conversation for MVP. So, make it's a hotter take, but I'm gonna go ahead and make that right now. I like the way he plays so far, but I really like how he put on some bulk in this offseason. Like, you can really just see it. He kind of filled in a little bit more. He's gotten older, and supposedly he's grown to like 6'10". So I think if the Celtics, they have a chance to maybe get that 1 or 2 seed, I think he could be a surprise pick. I don't think I'm not sold that it's going to happen, but I think he has a chance to be in that conversation. Defensive Player of the Year, I gotta agree with you with Anthony Davis. I don't think they should give it to Gobert or Giannis again. I think that would just be kind of blatantly disrespectful. Like, AD should have got it last year, I thought, because we kind of see Giannis. He wasn't the best perimeter defender. He's long, he's rangy, gets a lot of blocks, but he's not as well equipped to stay in front of people as AD is. My Rookie of the Year, I wanted to say LaMelo early on, but I kind of realized I don't think he'll get the touches because he does play behind 2 solid guards. Like, I'd like Devontae Graham. I liked him before LaMelo, even got there. And, I don't see them sitting Terry Rozier. So, just by warrant of him not starting, I don't know if he's going to get the reps. So I'm going to do what Micah did, and I'm going to pick 2. I'm going to pick Anthony Edwards, and then I'm going to pick Patrick Williams from the Bulls. Like, when I've seen some of his film, I was really impressed with him. He was kind of one of those surprise draft picks, but, they got blown out yesterday. But in the minutes that I've seen from him, he's a dominant type of force, very athletic, very strong. But he got a jumper, too, and it looks really pretty. He could pull it up off the dribble. So I think he can be a Rookie of the Year candidate. What was the other 2? Most improved. My most improved – it's got to come from, one of the up-and-coming young teams. I think that's usually kind of how most improved works. So mine's going to be Cam Reddish from Atlanta. I like what I saw from him last game. I think he's, committed more to the defensive end from what I've seen so far. And I always thought he had the talent to do it. Now it's just kind of about pulling it together. And then my coach of the year, if the Lakers go back, get that number 1 seed, I'm gonna go ahead and say Frank Vogel. I thought he, definitely should have got more consideration for it last year. I don't think it's easy to be the number 1 seed, even if you do have good talent. You never heard about any locker room issues or anything like that. And a lot of that is coaching. So, got to give that up to him. And yeah, I think that would probably be my coach of the year. Micah, you need me to repeat any of my picks?
I'm here the whole
for sure.
I'm here the whole way. I heard everything.
Good.
One I did want to highlight was you said Cam Reddish for most improved.
I think he could. Either him, I'll tell you my two because it was between two. I said either him or Lonzo because I look at the most improved award. It usually go to a player on a team that's like up and coming. Like you most likely not going to have a most improved player on a championship team. You feel me? Or a terrible team. They kind of got to be like a young budding, team. Like even somebody like Micah Bridges, like with the Suns. I think he has a real possibility to be, a very improved player. But the reason I say Cam Reddish is because like I just look at his play style and like frame, 6'10", can handle it, can shoot it, can dunk on you. Like I really like what he has to offer. And if Atlanta is any type of good this year, he'll be a big part of it.
Yeah. Kai, what you got, man? Let me hear your awards for the season.
Man, y'all made some good takes, man. But for MVP, I'm going, man, it's tough. It's between two guys. I'm going either Luka Doncic, which has been the I've seen he's the favorite most polls that I've seen. Just because of we all know he brings to the table. I think it's gonna be another big year for him, and then they also factor in winning. You know what I mean? I think that could be a top 3, top 4 team in the West. If they can do that, then I think that he has a really good chance. And if it's not him, I think it's Stephen Curry for a couple reasons. I don't think people should overreact too much off that Nets loss. They were missing Draymond first, first time him getting back in some action in a while. And I think that, just because without Clay this year, it's going to be, even more room for him to not expand his game, I know what he brings, but just for him to show out and do what he does. And I think he's going to put up astronomical numbers this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he averaged 30. The only thing is that could hold that team back is, the success of the team. I don't see them. I think they'll probably be bottom 5. I mean, bottom that 5th through 8th spot. So, and you typically don't see MVPs coming from that low of rankings. So those are my 2 MVP takes. Defensive player of the year, man. I'm gonna have to agree with you all with Anthony Davis. It's kind of hard not to look his direction. He hasn't seen that award. Has he ever got one in his career?
Nah, it's time.
Yeah, it's time. It's his time. You know what I mean? He can guard 1 through 5 legit. You know what I'm saying? He just brings it all, everything you're looking for on that side of the court. For rookie of the year, man, I'm gonna have to go. I'm torn between 2 guys. James Wiseman, like you said, Micah, just because I was very impressed with what I saw from him that first game, even though it was in a losing effort. He can do really well, I think just the same reasons why I think that Steph could get the MVP. I think he can get Rookie of the Year. Without Clay, his role is going to expand tremendously. I feel like he'll thrive in that offense. Steve Kerr definitely is going to cook something up where he's going to get. I like how they got him the ball. They got him ISO touches, a lot of pick and rolls. And then you got to factor in when Draymond comes back, he's a great facilitator as well. So that big on big, connection, it can be lethal. So I think
that was his first game. He didn't get no preseason, barely any college. So for him to look that good,
that mid 20 and 10, So I think he's my front runner. But if it's not him, I'm gonna have to go with Denny Avdia from the Wizards. Yes, that's my guy.
Nothing, no, man. He showed me something in the preseason, but that first game, he ain't showed me nothing. He just
he wasn't as aggressive as he could be. It takes time. Like, I'm not ready to, give up on him. But what I've seen is he's a 6'10" guy who can score all 3 levels and facilitate. And that's that's a great up and coming prospect from what I've seen. What he brings to the game, he affects the game in a lot of different ways. So will he get the touches because we have a Russ and a Brad and still Rui, and that's still to be seen. But if we use him, get him more touches and more aggressive, then I think that he can, put up some pretty solid numbers this year. What's the other award? Six man, man, that's tough. That's tough. But I kind of have to agree with you again, Micah, on Karis LeVert. I really like what they're doing with him, man. That's a guy who can go for 50. He's proven it. Legit scorer, and I like that system that Steve Nash has implemented in Brooklyn. It's free flowing. You could tell kind of has a D'Antoni spice to it. You know what I'm saying? You could definitely tell that, but it's a one-on-one game nowadays. It's an ISO game, and that's what he does. He gets ISO buckets. So the fact that they have him coming off in that second unit, he's going to be the guy. And
that's Jay Crawford.
Yeah,
that's what I was telling Micah. He's like legit the modern day Jay Crawford, like same build and everything.
Right. I feel like he's a little more physical than Crawford. Their games kind of they're a little different, but as far as effectiveness and getting a bucket, I can definitely see that comparison. So I can't even really think anybody else who could take that award from him this year. Of course, the season's gonna play on, and we're gonna see how guys are developing. But right now, it's Karis hands down. And Coach of the Year, man, I'm going Steve Nash. I'm going Steve Nash. You gotta think. Yeah. If you take that 1-2 spot in the East, first year putting together all that talent is not easy. Like you can.
That's what I said about Vogel though, and Vogel didn't get no consideration. That's what I thought was disrespectful. So I said,
you all know Ron damn near the coach every team. You don't know.
Always be seeming like
the number one seed don't be getting
it. Like he had to like prove himself again the next season. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't seem like they give it to him the season that they supposed to get it. Like I felt like Mike Malone should have got it last year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, but like I was saying, I think that if he could put all that talent together and lock in that first, second seed, and shit, you never even know how high they are in the power rankings. If they can get in that top 4, I think that it could go to Steve easily. I like what I've seen so far, and like I said from the jump, I think it was a great hire. I think that coaching is not going to say it's an easy job, but the two biggest components of it are: can you be personable? Can you relate to your guys? And can you construct an offense that can be conducive to their play style? And that's everything that I've seen so far out of Steve Nash, which is what I expected. 2-time MVP, one of the best point guards to ever play the game. You got to factor in the fact that he was a point guard as well. So I like that. Those are my picks.
I said that earlier, Kai, when me and when Nate and I was talking on the first topic, and I referenced the conversation that we had. I'm like, man, it's crazy because we got Nash, who he already has a player development hat, but when you get to add into the fact that he's a point guard, he's been putting people in their positions for his whole career. You know what I'm saying? He's been getting the most out of players for his whole career. So being able to do that with the Nets is like second nature to him.
Exactly.
But we ain't even get your thoughts on the first topic. Just your reaction to the Nets, how they looking, man. What's your expectations from this year, real quick, before we check out?
Man, super impressed with what I saw, man. It's everything that I thought it could be. When I saw Kevin Durant, when I heard he signed them papers to go to Brooklyn, man. So I was really impressed by the depth, the fluidity of the offense. It's not just Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They let Joe Harris get off. They're letting Dinwiddie get his shots. Finding the athletic bigs and DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen. They run the court really well. That second unit has proven that I think they can bump with a lot of first unit guys. A lot of teams first starter 5. It kind of reminds me of that Warriors team.
That's exactly what I told Michael before you hopped on. I said the same offense, bro.
Right. kind of reminds me of that Warriors team before KD got there and made them so lethal. With Sean Livingston and those guys coming up and Iguodala coming off the bench, like they're so deep that you don't lose any drop off when the starting five is out, and that's scary when you got Kyrie Irving and KD taking a break, and it's like the level of play doesn't drop. It doesn't drop significantly. And then before you look up, you got KD and Kyrie back in the game, and you know what they bring. So I feel like it's gonna get scary for the league, man. I really do. I feel like Jeff Green was a great pickup. Man, dude,
Yeah.
they go 12 deep. Because even the kid Cabarro, I think he can go. You know what I'm saying? That's a big guard. And then like Tyler Johnson, that's the fourth man. Like he could throw in some spot minutes. He's a proven guy in the league. So Shamit, Tony Prince. I really like the construction of this team. That's why I was thrown off by those Harden talks, because I feel like depth is more valuable than just three superstars, because they can't play the whole game. So I'm really impressed. I was really impressed by what I saw initially, and I think they're gonna keep it up.
Yeah. See, I agree with you, but I also wanted to preface it by saying that the Warriors also look terrible in that game. So I agree with everything you're saying, but I do want to see them play some better comp, because like Wiggins, he looked so bad out there. It was, man, like the Warriors offense was just like so far from like what we're used to seeing from them. So like I would like, I'm very curious about the Christmas Day game. I think the Nets will pull it out against the Bucks. But I would definitely like to see them play some, more well-equipped players before, like, I make all my judgments. But I did like from what I saw so far. But that dude Wiggins, man, I'm sorry, bro. I can't stop talking about how bad bro looked. Like he didn't look like he was supposed to be out on the floor type bad. And that's, I didn't even think he was that bad. I had a conversation with y'all about, his numbers don't really point to him being a bust. But if he keeps playing like that, I have a hard time seeing the Warriors competing for anything of value.
And one thing you had said before I check out that was definitely key was just teams that are lacking depth. Man, they like the Nets have it. Houston has it. Boston has it slightly, but it's
Lakers
not
got it.
that could really go to that bench and be like, hey, yeah, you go. A lot of teams can't run 8 through 12. You know what I'm saying? Can't run the 8 through 12 guys. So definitely, that's definitely one thing that I'm gonna keep an eye on this season, just to see, all right, who's gonna be able to really depend and rely on that bench. Of course, the Lakers, they have some pieces out there for sure. But man, I don't have nothing else. Y'all got anything?
Nah, man, I feel like speaking on that, the point of the depth, it's gonna come even more become even more critical of a factor this year because of all the provisions. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's so different. Guys, I know the Brooklyn Nets, they didn't have a deep playoff run. But for the Lakers especially, like you said, it's gonna definitely take be beneficial to them so they can sit down LeBron James. And and this is a condensed season, not as long of an off season. So guys, I think we're gonna see guys getting banged up a little bit more. So depth is definitely gonna come and play a big role and help a lot of teams out.
For sure, man. Let's go ahead and end it and wrap it up here. Man, I appreciate y'all for checking in like always, man. It's the family always coming in, checking in the building. Make sure y'all go over there, check out the sponsor, TOB Sports. Go over there, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe on everything, man. Tell Dave we said what up. He got some more content coming y'all way, so make sure y'all go over there and tune in with him. Make sure you go over there and tune in with us on National Sports Chat, man. We got new content coming as well daily, man. So make sure you go over there, YouTube, Facebook, IG. We there. Make sure you go over there to the sports page. Yeah, that's one of the things we running as matchmakers. Make sure you go over there to the sports page. Micah and Friends. I said the sports page, the podcast page. Make sure you go over there, follow us at Micah and Friends. Make sure you follow the guys at More Nate, at J. Cotton _. Make sure you follow all of us And I appreciate y'all for checking in, man. Happy holidays to all that's out there. Appreciate everybody checking in the comment section. We gonna come back and do it again and again and again. But that's all we got for y'all today, man. Mike and friends, we're checking in and checking out. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Happy holidays, everybody.
Oh,
He ain't give us the countdown.
Here is something you can't understand. How I just keep killing, man. I'm from the South Rim, spinning like ceiling fans. Gambling with life, no complaining about the dealer hand. Back when niggas used to ride around the Dipset. Now these cops will shoot you on your live, that's a killer cam.
man, appreciate you, Brody.
Yes,